The Prehistoric Sea World is proud to present two new enclosures for the dinos from the newest Cretaceous Predator Pack. Today we'll add the majestic Tarbosaurus to our park and build a mixed enclosure for the Gigantoraptor and the Oviraptor. Those guys can live in one enclosure without any problems. Our park is growing and I just couldn't be happier with how it looks right now. I really hope you will enjoy the newest episodes. Hello guys, this is Caesar Creates and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the Prehistoric Sea World. Today is a very special episode of this series because we'll be adding two new dinos from the newest Cretaceous Predator Pack and also one small dino from the Dominion Malta expansion, so 3 in total. In the first enclosure that we are creating right now, we'll have the largest of them all, the largest when it comes to this new DLC, the Tarbosaurus. And in the second enclosure that we'll create today in this episode, we'll have the new Gigantoraptor that will live with the smaller Oviraptor. They actually can both live in one enclosure without any problem. So when I found out that those two bird-like species can live together, I just had to put them together because they look so amazing in one enclosure, sort of like a, you know, big birds with some chicks, like some smaller, I don't know, babies or anything like that. So I just wanted to go for that. And let me explain why those two new species from the new DLC are the ones that I decided to choose for this park. So I've read some facts about the new dinos from the new park. I hope that I got them right. I know that some of you are really like you know, specialists when it comes to the dino world and so on, but the Tarbosaurus, I've read that it used to live in floodplains of large rivers and also near mud floods and the shallow lakes. So I thought that it would be just perfect for our Prehistoric Sea World, where we are adding different marine reptiles and also the dinos that are sort of associated with water or just could live in more like moist environments. So the Tarbosaurus, just, you know, for me it sounded perfect. And the same goes for the Gigantoraptor that I've read that lived in highly humid environments near large braided river valleys with flat plains, so also a perfect contender for this park. And also adding it gave me an idea to add the Oviraptor with it in one enclosure. Those guys actually belong to the same family of the Oviraptors, so it all makes sense. They also used to live in like very similar areas, so yeah, really cool enclosure. I really love it. The Gigantoraptor is one of my favorites when it comes to the new pack. I must say that I really enjoy all of those species. All 4 are amazing, but I have my favorites, and I think that the Gigantoraptor and the Concavenator are my 2 favorites. Then on the like second, third place it will be the Gigantoraptor, and on the last place it will be the Tarbosaurus. I still love the Tarbosaurus. I think it is such an amazing dino. It has some really amazing animations. But to me, when I look at the models of dinos like Gigantoraptor, that is so amazing, like the Gigantraptor that looks so good. The Tarbosaurus also looks amazing, like the details on the model, like all those spikes and so on, they are incredible. But to me, it sort of looks a bit more like cartoonish. I know that it is stylized on the model from Camp Cretaceous, and this is basically probably why they decided to do it, but still it's a bit more like a, you know, stylized model more than the ones that we got in this new DLC. That's why it's on the 4th place, but I still really enjoy it. This is actually the 4th video covering the Cretaceous Predator Pack on my channel. I already released the ones, you know, showing you some animations, skins and so on when it comes to all the new dinos. The one that showcased showcases, the new free update, all the decorations and skins for some dinos that we already had in the game. We also had a video from the Cretaceous Desert Park where I added the Gigantoraptor and the Concavenator. So if you are looking for some inspiration for builds for those two guys, go and check out the video that is already out on my channel. I will of course put the links on the screen and in the description to this video if you like to watch those videos. This video today is the fourth one and it's a final one. I was able to record all that a bit earlier because of the early access. I know you guys who watched all of 4 of those videos are probably, you know, bored of me being excited about this, but this is kind of a huge deal for me to get an early access for the Jurassic World Evolution 2 DLC because it's my first one, and being amongst all those huge channels, amazing channels that are always getting those, it means so much. So I am so proud of myself that I just want to share it with you guys. I will probably release this video like 1 or 2 days after the official release of the new pack, so you guys should already be able to, you know, download it, play it, buy it, and so on. So let me know down in the comments what are your thoughts about the new pack. Do you love it as much as I do? Because I think it's one of my favorites because I love all the dinos so much, and also the free update is also amazing. So yeah, I really love it, and let me know down in comments what you think about it. And if you are looking for inspiration for your builds for those new dinos, you should have, you know, 4 different enclosures for those in totally different biomes. I just love how much of a contrast those two series are. I mean, the Cretaceous Desert Park and this one is really green, lush with a lot of different like plants, forest, water, and on the other hand we have the desert, like arid climate. So that all should be already out on my channel. I've built all the enclosures for all the new dinos, and this is actually something new for me because normally it takes me around a month or so to, you know, finally build for all the new like species that are added with those DLC. So again, quite proud of myself doing some improvements in here, guys. Okay, so let's finally talk about the things that we did. So I knew that the Tarbosaurus needed a bigger enclosure. It is a very big carnivore. It probably needs a lot of space. I also wanted to have 2 of them in there. And actually I did the habitat a little too big at first because I didn't have this like sense of scales. I'm not quite like familiar with the Tarbosaurus at this point, so I didn't know how big it actually is. So I had to make it a bit smaller. In the front of it I just used a very highly like secured fence because with a dino like that I just prefer using, you know, like high security fences so our guests feel safe. It also looks nice. And in the back I used this invisible fence that I covered with a lot of different plants and rocks, so it's even more invisible. Like I didn't want to make the invisible fence visible, so I covered it. I don't know if it makes any sense, but yeah, the invisible fence in Jurassic World Evolution 2, it still has this part that is visible. So I really wanted to cover it to make this like illusion that there is this normal fence in the back, but you cannot really see that because of the dense foliage and stuff like that. So this is basically what I did. I also added some new decorations, of course, and then it was time to build a new habitat for our bird-like species, the Gigantoraptor and the Oviraptor. And there I just lowered it slightly, like so it's slightly like lower compared to the paths for the guests. I added water and I added tons of different plants to make it look like swampy. I didn't want to have too many like trees in there not to block the view, and the guests are simply able to walk around it. And in here, not to block the view again, I didn't want to use like traditional fences. I used the invisible ones, and I really love the final effect, how it all looks. You cannot really see the Oviraptor in there because it is so tiny and there's so many like different bushes and so on, but the Gigantoraptor looks amazing, and I cannot wait to show you guys it all up close. And this is all when it comes to the speed build part of the video, so let's meet in a second so I can show you around. Welcome to the real-time part of the video and welcome to the Tarbosaurus enclosure. As you guys can see, a mighty Tarbosaurus is just like strolling in front of us. I love this dino so much. It has some pretty amazing animations, especially the human kill animation. If you haven't seen that, definitely go and check it out. So this is their new enclosure in our park. It has like this sloped part. This is basically the edge of the map and I wanted to cover it with some different plants and so on. There's also an invisible fence that I wanted to make even more invisible, but adding all of those plants, rocks and so on. Of course, I wanted to make it heavily water-based because we are in a prehistoric sea world, so there's this river like floating throughout the entire enclosure, some dead logs, and we also have a viewing platform for our guests to have a better view inside of this enclosure. Because it's like a mighty and dangerous dinosaur, a huge carnivore, I decided to use this like very heavy fence, as well as some security cameras that are in some places just to add some realism. If you go this way, we will stumble upon our lagoon that we added last time with the zip lines. So here we have the Shonisaurus and the Ichthyosaurus, I want to say flying, but they are definitely swimming in there. And on the other side, we have the new Tarbosaurus enclosure, and you can see the social animation right now. So yeah, super happy with how it has turned out. I love this like broadwalk with here with the perfect view inside of the Tarbosaurus enclosure. This is how it all looks. We have our viewing platform or viewing tower in here. We have also some security tower there. Oh, there's a goat in here. That's a surprise. Hello! What are you doing here? Oh, can someone tell me how to get rid of the goat that is out of the enclosure and he's just roaming around? That's so funny. Okay, so this is how the enclosure looks from this side. I really love this view, I must say. But this is not all that we've done in this episode, because we also have this new enclosure for the Gigantoraptor and the Oviraptor, because they can both live in one enclosure without any problems. I sort of suspected that the Gigantoraptor would like hunt the smaller Oviraptor, but that's not the case, and unfortunately it's not the case for any other dino, because the Gigantoraptor, it doesn't hunt any other dinos. I thought that it would be a perfect animal to have this animation, this kill animation with some smaller dinos like Homocephaly or I don't know, Compsognathus or just the Oviraptor, but it doesn't kill them. Unfortunately, it can kill bigger dinos by fighting with them, but it also doesn't have any kill animations for those. It just kicks it with its feet and then the dino dies. So that's the only nitpick when it comes to this whole DLC, because I must say that I really love it. It's definitely one of my favorites, I think. All the dinos are so good. This one is definitely one of my favorites when it comes to the design and how it looks, how it acts. The social animation is really amazing. Just how it moves, it looks so cool. So we have our 4 Gigantoraptors in here. I wanted to make it look a bit like swampy, so it's very lush with a lot of like low growing plants. Some are growing in the water, but because of those plants you cannot really see the Oviraptors, and I think that there are 8 of those. Oh, here they are. We have 2. So this is what I meant, that they sort of look like just, you know, little Gigantoraptors, sorry. It sort of looks like chicks and adults, so it's amazing. Oh, we can see the social animation right now for the Oviraptor. They can also eat from the feeder at the same time, the big one and the small one, so it's also really cool to see. So yeah, this is the new enclosure for them, and I think that it really fits to this part of our park. I think it's a perfect like addition to this corner. It all is coming out better than I expected, actually, because I didn't have like much. I had plans for this, slightly different plans that I had to adjust, but here I didn't know what to do, and I think that this enclosure just fits perfectly next to this African enclosure and you know, next to the lagoon and so on. So in the next episode, we will focus on this area in here. I already did some testing, as you guys can see, so it's a little spoiler alert for the next episode of the Prehistoric Sea World. If you go, what happened in here? If you go to the map, I just wanted to go to the map real quick. You will see that right now we basically have this part filled. I think that in the next enclosure we'll focus on this part. As I told you guys, there's something that will be in here. So this is something for the next episode. Then probably we'll do this and then focus on finishing like this part here. And then it will be a time for a grand finale. Probably like 3 episodes for filling up this beach, and of course there will be a final tour, and then the park will be available to download from Nexus, so you can play with it yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you like the new species as much as I do. I hope you agree with the choices that I made for this park. Maybe those are not the typical animals that would go to the Prehistoric Sea World, but I can sort of see that working. We'll focus more on adding more marine reptiles and other more like water-based dinos in the next episode, so hopefully we'll balance it out a little bit. Okay guys, so that's all when it comes to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video like this. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and of course leave me a nice comment if you enjoyed the video. If you'd like to support the channel a little bit extra, you can do it with the join button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!